Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I'm going to show you how you can use MDelayMB to create a random chorus. And when I mean random, I mean instead of using an LFO to control the amount of time change in the delay, we're actually going to use a random modulator. So let me show you how you can do that. I have Guitar Architect here, which is a clean sound, and that's just what we're going to use for the demonstration. But let's get into it. What we're going to use here is MDelayMB. We actually don't need the multi-band for this, but it's in there. Use one band here. We can set our delay to whatever we want. Let's hear it. Like a flat back here, we can move it up. Like that. What we want to do first is actually move this to classic mode. Now at default, if I turn the feedback down, you don't hear anything. It's only when it's up that you hear it. But if we move it to classic mode and then turn the feedback down, the feedback and the actual volume are kind of independent. So that's what we want. So let's move this down here, maybe 20 or so. You're probably not even hearing that bit, so it's like a short slap back. It almost sounds like, reverb or some echo in your room or something. So what we want to do is we could just modulate from here, and I'll show you how to do it. If we move this up and we have our utilities here, we can go into, say, clear and learn, move this time slightly, like this, turn it on, and we should have something in here that actually moves by an LFO. Let's move it up to 0.7 hertz. So that's what you have. I don't actually want that much. Let's try minimum 20 here. So you can hear that chorus in there. But actually, we don't want to do that. And the reason why is because it's not stereo. If you just want a classic mono chorus, you can do that, but we want stereo. So what we're going to do is just clear and learn here, and then move this right one here. So we should have that in here now, and that should move between like 1 and, to be honest, 3 might be too much. Let's try 2 here. So let's hear this, and this should be in stereo. Now, I could do the same thing with the left. The problem with doing it in the left is they're both going to be using this same frequency. So it's not really going to sound as good as it could. It'll sound different, but not really the way we want it to. So now, like, the right's chorusing, but the left side isn't chorusing at all. Now, I could use another modulator to modulate the left at a slightly different frequency, and that would work. Or I could try maybe switching the phase or something, but let's try something a little bit different. So now I have the right in here. Let's do the same thing for the left. I'm not going to clear it. I'm just going to hit learn here. And we'll have this maybe go down over maybe slightly wider range. It's probably too much, actually. So 0 and let's say maybe 5, I guess. Okay. So I could do that with the LFO. But you hear that wow, like that. That's what we're trying to avoid. And to do that, we can use a random modulator. So you see here we have the normal LFO. We go to random here. This will do the same thing, except the only difference is it's going to be moving randomly instead of just always up and always down. That's what's going to happen. You see it's not moving randomly now, and you're like, why? And it's because I'm not playing anything. So these plugins will shut down when there's no, as you see here, sleeping, when there's no input coming in. So if I start inputting something, you can see it start to move around like this. Just moving my hand back and forth on my neck. So let's hear that. Well, you might be noticing it's not that regular wow, wow coming in and out, but it's like it seems to be coming in and out kind of randomly, but it's still going in and out. And the problem is we don't have this each target different. So now each of these are moving up and down, but they're moving up and down in the exact same way. If we turn this on, now each target is going to be slightly different. Sometimes one's going to go up, the other one's going to go down. Sometimes one's going to move, the other one isn't. So let's hear that now with each target different on. Now we're getting much more lush modulation. Another thing we can do is we can actually add the LFO modulation. So if we turn this all the way up, what's going to happen is it's just going to be LFO modulation like this. Just like you got before in normal. But we can use a certain percentage. So now at 50-50, it's going to be half LFO modulation, but it's also going to be half random modulation, like this. So that can be more lush. So if you don't want it completely random, you can do that. We can also speed it up here a lot, which probably won't sound good, but just hear it. Yeah, that's terrible. Way too much. Let's try just a little bit. You can see what's happening there. I'm not sure if you want to speed it up too much. In this case, you probably want to slow it down. I believe the speed is actually related to your DAW tempo, so keep that in mind. But I can slow it down also. I think it's good right where it is. We can change the smoothness to make it jump, which probably doesn't sound good. But you can have it smoother there also. So I think the parameters are okay, but let's say we want this, you know what, it sounds good, but I want just a little bit more. I want it a little bit more lush. Actually, first, cut off some of the low end. But we can use this with a second tap here. I'm going to leave it in parallel like this. And we can do the exact same thing here. And let's say have this at 100. That seems good. And what we're going to do is the exact same thing. Just click Learn. Move this. I'll move this down a little bit. Move this up a little bit. There. And now we should have both of these doing the exact same thing as I had before. Let's listen to just this side with just this tap on. Oh, another thing, make sure I change this to classic. If that sounded good, we can add the other one in. Now that could be good, it could be too much. Might want to turn the wet signal down, doing that thing here, but probably want something a little bit more gentle like this. To be honest, this one is a little bit much. I think on tap 2, doing so much of a difference, I think sometimes doesn't sound good. Try 3, a difference of, yeah, maybe 2 something or like that. Having a large difference in milliseconds usually makes more of like a wobbling sound. So if that's what you want, add more milliseconds here to the max. But if you don't want that, you might want to bring that down a bit. So now we have that. You might be wondering, like, what if I want to like adjust it on the fly? So one thing we can do is add a multi-parameter here. Just make sure you have this assignable parameter ranges. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to adjust these. So if I have this off and I click here, like clear and learn and start adjusting this, oh, there we go. When you look in here, it's like, hey, there's nothing in there. So make sure you have this on. So now I'll do this, clear and learn, adjust this max here, adjust this here, adjust this, actually, left it there, and adjust this here. Okay. There we have it. And make sure all the values are okay. That's all right. I'll leave it like that. So for this, normally I would change the max values for all of these. And actually change this too. But I'll leave it here. In this case, I think it's actually okay because all of them should be moving in different ways because they're random. So what I'm going to do is just assign this. Let's assign it at 5, which is probably way too much. And then we're going to change all these to use first parameter range. So all of them are just going to be like this. I'll put this mod amount here. And now let's start playing and moving this around. So if I move it all the way up like this, probably way too much. Move it down here. I think probably the middle is good. So using that, you get much more lush sounds. Also, if let's say I didn't want to do that, and let's say I want to take these off, what I can do is say band 2, remove these, and I can use this serially. Turn these both off here. Maybe I'll use default here. I can set this to a certain delay time like this, and when I play it, this chorus is going to go into here, which is just a normal delay like this. That turn this feedback up. For a nice lush sound. You can even sync that too. So if I want this, let's say quarter notes, sync to tempo. Actually, I want to turn this up a bit. Like that. So that's another cool thing you could do. If you want to know how to do this in Guitar Architect, you can do it even without having MDelayMB. So I have this set up here. So without it, it sounds like this. Nothing. When I turn this on, I have different delays, and I have it using the mod down below. So it looks like I have the mod amount up too much. Turn this down a little bit. I probably adjust that a little bit more. But you see I have different delays here doing different things, just like before, and I have them going into a mixer. One going out the right, one going out the left, right, and then center, like that. So that's how you're getting that sound. So doing this, you can get a chorus sound that doesn't have that like cyclical wobbling sound. So hopefully I gave you a good idea of how to do this. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me any questions and comments down below, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Happy New Year.